ආණ්ඩුවේම ඕන වැඩක් මේ කරලා දෙන්නේ.
මේ රට විනාශයි පුතා. රට හදලා නැහැ. ඒගොල්ලෝ හැදිලා තියෙනවා. අප්පගෙන් පුතාගෙන් ගෑණිගෙන් ඒ විදියට ගිහිල්ලා රට කාලා තියෙන්නේ. අපිට තේරෙන්නේ මොකද්ද මේ කරන්නේ කියන එක.
මෙච්චර උරු ඉන්නවා. ඒක උරේක්වත් නෑ හොයාගන්න. අල්ලලත් නෑ කාවත්. නැති බැරි මිනිහා තැලි ඉන්න එක තමයි වැඩි.
ආණ්ඩුව පත් වෙච්ච දා ඉඳලා මම මණ්ඩල පත් කරනවා. අපිට කිසි වෙනසක් නෑ ඒකෙන් තමයි.
ගිජ්ජාව. ජය මැජික් එකක් වගේ.
එක කෙනෙක්වත් මේ රටට ආදරේ නෑ. රට එන්නෙන් අගාධයට යනවා.
අපි හොයාගත්තොත් අපි කරනවා. කිසිම දෙයක් මේ කවුරු මොන කැබිනට් එකක් ආවත් කිසිම තේරුමක් නැහැ.
ඒ ඉතින් පේරානේ තියෙන රටේ තත්ත්වයට අච්චාරුවක් වගේ වෙනවා.
ඔය විද්‍යාත්මකයක් අපිට තමයි විද්‍යාත්මක වෙලා තියෙන්නේ. මේ කම්පැනි මාරු කරන විතරයි අපි අමාරුයි වැටලා තියෙන්නේ.
හොරායින් දාලා මංකොලකාරය දාලා මංකොලකාරනේ මිනිමරුව දාලා මිනිමරුව වෙන තැන තව ඉතිං උසක දාලා ඕකනේ වෙලා තියෙන්නේ. 4 කිලෝ එකක් අරන් අවශ්‍ය ගෙදර යන්න. ලාම්තර ටික ගන්න නෑ සල්ලි නෑ. වැඩක් නෑ.
ඇමති මණ්ඩලය ඒගොල්ලෝ තෝරගන්නවා. තව කට්ටිය තව විදිහට තෝරනවා. කොතනින්වත් අපි දුප්පතාට සහනයක් නැති තමයි අපිට කියන්නේ.
අර මොණරාගලෙන් දියවරමත් දාලා තියෙන්නේ. ඒ වගේ තමයි.
කිසි වැඩක් නෑ. බොරුවෙන්ම යන්න තමයි යන්නේ ඔය අවුරුදු දෙකක් කිසි දෙයක් කරන්නේ නෑ.
මම දන්නේ මේ ආණ්ඩුව අවුරුද්දේ මන්ද පෝෂණය එක කරයි. ඒකත් ලොකු ජයග්‍රහණයක් නෑ අපිට.
මිනිස්සුන්ට ජීවත් වෙන්න බෑ රටේ ජීවත් වෙන්න බෑ රස්තාවක් නෑ තරුණයින්ට. ඉතින් කොහොමද ජීවත් වෙන්නේ?
බඩ වඩා ගන්න කරන්න ඔක්කොම. රට පහක වැඩ ඔක්කොම එකයි.
Well, those are some of the views expressed by the general public about the current situation in the country and the recent scientific change in the cabinet of ministers. Good evening and welcome. This is Primetime News on News First. I'm Ramesh Irugal Bandara. Before we move into the stories in detail, here's a look at your headlines.
Price of a kilogram of milk powder increased by 50 rupees with effect from midnight today. Who will benefit from suspending the importation of rice? President's Chief of Staff and State Timber Corporation Chairman remanded until the 9th. Heavy showers expected in several parts of the island.
On to the stories in detail now. The Met Department states that due to a low-level atmospheric disturbance in the vicinity of Sri Lanka, showery conditions can be expected to enhance over the island.
The Met Department forecasts heavy rainfall exceeding 100 millimeters at some places in the southern, central, Sabaragamuwa, Uva and north-central provinces and in some parts of Kaluthara district. Issuing a communique, the Multi-Hazard Early Warning Dissemination Division said due to a low-level atmospheric disturbance in the vicinity of Sri Lanka, showery conditions is expected to further enhance. The Met Department said there may be temporary strong winds due to thunder showers in those areas. The department requests the general public to take preventive measures to minimize the damages caused by lightning activities. The department added that prevailing weather conditions will continue until the morning hours of the 7th of this month. A program to raise awareness on disaster preparedness will be conducted by Gammedda for 3 whole days starting from tomorrow. These programs will take place in the Mathura, Ratnapura, Gaul and Kaluthara districts across 3 whole days starting from Saturday. In order to be prepared to face natural disasters, the Disaster Management Centre, the Asia Pacific Alliance for Disaster Management together with Gammedda organized the program of raising awareness.
What precautions will you take when faced with a flood? A program to create awareness on pre-flood preparations on the 5th, 6th and 7th of May in Kaluthara, Gaul, Mathura and Ratnapura. A joint effort by Gammedda and the Asia Pacific Alliance for Disaster Management.
In another blow to the general public, the Consumer Affairs Authority has given the green light to increase the price of a kilogram of milk powder by 50 rupees with effect from midnight.
Milk powder is subjected to a government-controlled price in the country. Approval from the Consumer Affairs Authority should be obtained to amend the control prices. Milk powder companies had requested for approval from the Consumer Affairs Authority to increase the domestic price of milk powder in line with the rise in global market prices. Consumer Affairs Authority granted approval to milk powder companies to increase their prices by 50 rupees in line with the recommendation issued by the Cost of Living Committee. Accordingly, a price of a 400 full cream milk powder packet will be increased by 20 rupees. Cost of Living Committee said this will be imposed on domestic and foreign milk powder brands. Ministry of Industry and Commerce said this increase in price will not impact infant formula and non-fat milk powder. The Consumer Affairs Authority said the price increase is only applicable to milk powder produced after the 5th of May 2018. This increase in price comes in a background where the World Food and Agriculture Organization has said that 22.1% of Sri Lankan population do not receive adequate food to maintain a healthy and balanced lifestyle. Data shows 17% of children below the age of 5 years are malnourished. Ministry of Finance took measures to increase import tax on big onions and potatoes by 40 rupees from midnight on Wednesday. Prices of domestic gas cylinders was increased by 245 rupees on the 27th of April 2018. Lanka IOC took measures on the 23rd of February 2018 to increase the price of a litre of diesel by 5 rupees and petrol by 9 rupees. There is a social dialogue citing the CPC prices must be decided based on a price formula, and the IMF had also given the government several weeks to come up with such a formula. In its evaluation report, the IMF had called for an automatic pricing mechanism to be formulated in order for Sri Lanka to secure the next tranche of the extended fund facility.
Now, yesterday it was announced that the government reached a decision to control the import of rice. Who will benefit from this decision? Newsfirst takes a look.
Rice imports suspended. Who will benefit? Is it the farmer? Is it the consumer? Is it the mill owner?
The inclement weather experienced in 2016 had a serious impact on rice cultivation in 2017. It was in 2017 the lowest rice production was reported from the country. As rice production in the country did not meet the local demand for consumption, the Ministry of Industry and Commerce took measures to import rice from India, Pakistan, Myanmar, Cambodia and Vietnam. Thereby, on several instances, the import tax on rice was also reduced. According to records from the Central Bank of Sri Lanka, during the previous year, 800,000 metric tons of rice had been imported to the country. However, the recent Maha cultivation season, the farmers reaped a massive harvest. Therefore, the Cost of Living Committee that convened on the 1st of May had decided there is no need to import rice any further. The 25-cent tax which was imposed on rice imports was returned to its previous state, and from the 30th of April, rice imports to Sri Lanka was controlled. The Cost of Living Committee states under this system, traders will have to incur a cost of over 70 rupees to import a kilogram of rice.
We suffered during the previous harvesting seasons when engaging in our cultivations. We somehow managed to cultivate during the previous Maha season, but the harvest was only 50%. When we reap the harvest and go to the mills, the mill owners buy the produce as they please. 5 leading mill owners in Polonnaruwa have banded together and are making decisions. They are deciding on the price of purchasing paddy. A kilogram is usually over 80 rupees, but they buy it for 35 rupees from the farmer. There is a difference of 40 rupees, and such is their profit.
They buy paddy for a lesser price and sell rice at a higher price. The poor man has nothing to eat.
When the local farmers' harvest reached the market, the mill owners purchased it at a lower price. A decision should have been made by December 2017. There is no point in reaching a decision when the harvest is being reaped. This is like closing the stable after the horses run off. The large mill owners will stockpile the imported rice for around 6 to 7 months. Thereafter, a law is imposed. The consumer does not benefit at all. We cannot purchase paddy at present because the sale of rice is at a low. Large quantities of imported rice have flooded the market, therefore the demand for our produce has dropped to 99%. This is being done by 2 or 3 large mill owners. This is being decided on the needs of the mill owners and the ministers. There was no need to import rice. Shortage of paddy was not the cause for the increase in prices. It was because 2 or 3 large companies stockpiling rice with the aim of making massive profits. This was an artificial price increase. The government interpreted this in a wrong way. They imported rice. However, the local prices did not drop. It caused an unnecessary influx of rice into the local market and wholesale prices dropped. The government's decision to suspend rice imports came too late. It did not benefit the farmer nor the small and medium mill owners.
දේශීය හාල්
5.2 million metric tons of rice had been produced in Sri Lanka since January 2017. The annual consumption is 2.4 million metric tons, which is 200,000 metric tons for a month. This rice stocks will suffice for 27 months. In such a backdrop, 1.1 million metric tons of excess rice have been imported. At present, there is 2.9 million metric tons of rice in the country. Even if we disregard the yellow season, we will have rice stocks to last for 14 months. Where are these rice stocks? Are they with the government? Are they with the small mill owners? Are they with the farmer? No. These rice stocks are hidden. They then sell it for 90 rupees upwards. This is the situation.
Yesterday, the President issued an order to immediately interdict President's Chief of Staff Dr. I.K. Mahanama and the Chairman of the State Timber Corporation P. Dissanayake. The President had instructed authorities to enforce legal action against them without any obstruction.
President's Chief of Staff, Dr. I.K. Mahanama, and Chairman of the State Timber Corporation, P. Dissanayake, were arrested last evening at a five-star hotel in Colombo by personnel from the Bribery Commission when soliciting a bribe of 20 million rupees. The suspects were produced before Colombo Chief Magistrate Lal Ranasinghe Bandara last night and were remanded until the 9th of May. A statement by the President's Media Division last night stated these measures establish the implementation of the government's sustainable policy towards combating corruption and bribery and the importance of establishing independent commissions. The President notes he is pleased with the independent and unbiased environment created under the present government for government officials to enforce the law accordingly. Several views were expressed over this matter.
When the government was elected, within a short period they showed commitment to locate an investor to revive the Kantale sugar factory. The total investment is $100 million. Measures were taken to revive the factory as per the agreement. The scrap metal at the premises is worth more than 500 million rupees. The Secretary to the Ministry of Lands made attempts to stop the scrap metal from being given to the investor. He retired over a month ago and went to the Presidential Secretariat to serve as the President's Chief of Staff. Within a short period, he gets involved in this activity. He had requested 600 million rupees from them. There is no possibility for an investor to pay 600 million rupees as a bribe for a project that is only 500 million rupees. The investor will have to resort to action because he has already brought $10 million to the country. This is the pressure exerted on investors by the public servants. That is why investors do not come here.
In connection with the sugar project in Kantale, the existing Kantale sugar which has been closed down. No, that is not the land allocation. The land was already available. It's a project that Kantale Sugar Company was already there and that closed down. So the same land, but there was a delay in approving the project or handing over the land to the project. But these are what the officials have done. This was the existing proposal. There was a problem about some machinery which was in that property. The metal for scrap metal. So there was a dispute and disagreement on that. So that's why that went into arbitration. No, the property had to be released by the land ministry. No?
Yeah. So the arbitration was to pay 20 million bribe fine.
That you'll have to ask him.
Most of the investment projects since this government came in is subject to criticism a lot. Now yesterday we
like what?
Mentioned high-ranking individual in government or public office got caught taking 20 million. So to address that kind of thing.
No, but that is because we are transparent. Only this is coming out. In any other government has anybody been taken like this?
So at the same time.
So we are very concerned. But some of these officers, some of these people have been coming. So we don't know whether everybody is honest or not. We can't say that. No.
You mean say you don't
but
know
we
if
are
officials honest or not?
Yeah. I mean, my officers are honest. I can say that. But I don't know what other ministries and other officers. You know.
What about the former central bank governor? Like one of your prime minister's close confidant.
Yeah, but
what's happening with him? So
there is a case going on. No, let that come. We are not saying that he is there. Okay, thank you very much. I got to go for another meeting. Thank you so much.
The Prime Minister is behind this. This is the result of the shock in the government. If not, this will never be exposed. When it was complained to Ranil Wickremesinghe, he perfectly set the scenario for it. This is the truth. If not, the money and the rogues will never be caught. We now have to talk about the corrupt activities of the regime that came into power to change the previous regime. We know how the main suspect of the central bank bond scam has fled the country and is now in hiding. The legal system in the country has not been able to bring him before the law. When Interpol issued an order to arrest him, the Sri Lankan government and the police intervened and assisted him to appeal, citing that the officials are following him to fulfill political revenge. This is a joke. We have a question in this situation. What are the politicians who appointed and recommended him saying? What are the politicians who vouched for him doing now? Where are they when the conduct of these officers they appointed are questioned? Where are the politicians who safeguarded these individuals? That is a question from the public.
ජනතාවට ප්‍රශ්නයක් වෙලා තියෙනවා.
Hiroto Izumi, the special consultant to the Japanese Prime Minister, along with his delegation, met with President Maithripala Sirisena today at the President's official residence this morning.
The delegation arrived in the island following agreements reached between the President and the Japanese Prime Minister during President's official visit to Japan. They arrived in the island to inspect about the future development on the agreed matters. President Maithripala Sirisena had pointed out the need to expedite the implementation of energy projects to avoid any possible energy crisis that may occur in the future. Attention was also focused on development activities of the Trincomalee harbour during the discussion, which is being done with Japanese assistance. President Maithripala Sirisena requested the Japanese delegation to assist in developing infrastructure facilities in the eastern province. President's media division stated that the President acknowledged the assistance given by Japan to ensure maritime security in the region. The President has also requested the Japanese representatives to provide the technological assistance required by Sri Lanka to eradicate drug peddling, which has posed a threat to the region.
A group of United National Party activists who were victims of political vengeance while serving at the Ceylon Electricity Board staged a demonstration opposite the UNP headquarters Sirikota today, demanding justice.
Following the appointment of the new government, the United National Party appointed committees to provide relief to such individuals. However, these people claim the committee had identified 225 people who worked at the CEB as those who were subject to injustice. Though the committees had recommended justice be meted out immediately, the demonstrators claim as of yet that is yet to be put into action.
I have no way of surviving. We served in the committees since 2002. When in the opposition, the leader did not give us anything. We are the ones who protected the Prime Minister. Those who switch sides wearing ties do not do so.
Most of the activists who made requests have passed away. Are they waiting till the others die as well? Therefore, a direct decision needs to be made to implement those recommendations. We are here to make that request from the leadership. Thereafter, the group called on the administrative secretary at Sirikota and handed over a petition.
The 61st and 62nd villages constructed under the Samata Sevana Yali Pibidena Udagammana program were vested with the public today.
The villages' names Pokunugama and Ransirigama, located in Gomaran Kadavala, Trincomalee, were vested with the public today by Minister of Housing and Construction Sajid Premadasa. These two projects comprise of 49 houses and were constructed at a cost of 43.7 million rupees.
In my ministry, we do not inquire if a person is a civilian, a public servant, or if one whose mother is overseas. We will not disregard the benefits of the people. I have informed the officials, if the village authority is not making any recommendations, use the ministerial powers of Sajid Premadasa and ensure all families of civil forces personnel and public servants are treated well. I am against a system of slashing benefits using the previous outdated circular. I may be sent home in 2019 or 2020. If not, I will be sent elsewhere. The people will decide that. As long as I hold the spoon of state power, the housing program must be implemented as I have envisioned. Premadasa's son will reach the target of 2,500 Udagammana concept villages.
Minister Malik Samaravikrama convened a media briefing today to comment on the Sri Lanka-Singapore Free Trade Agreement. Now, the FTA is in effect from the 1st of May 2018.
We make use of
We discussed this agreement over a period of time. We prepared the agreement and then directed it to the Attorney General for approval. Thereafter, we presented it to Cabinet and approval was given. It was only then we signed the agreement. Vimal Viravansa and Bandula Gunamardana had made statements, and those are false. We have held discussions with all parties. They have not agreed to everything. However, we have held cordial discussions, and even yesterday we had a meeting with the Institute of Engineers. They too have issues, and we are taking those issues into consideration. Under this agreement, no one can freely come here and work. If an investment is being made, they have a certain limit they can bring in. No one else can come here and work as they please.
What you have
to remember is this agreement is signed basically. What we want is to attract investment into the country in both services and manufacturing. So there is investment chapter in the agreement which provides protection to investors, so that protection will encourage investment to come into the country. So the investment is the primary objective of getting signed into the agreement. Indian one, we are finished the 9th round, 10th round we are scheduling for the end of the month. It's a process, and I think it will continue, and when we are ready only that agreement will be concluded. China, of course, we are trying to meet again, fresh dates are to be agreed to, and then what is that agreed will be meeting the China for the 7th round.
Lending for Sri Lanka from the ADB or the Asian Development Bank will see a significant increase of up to 600 or 800 million US dollars this year. ADB Director General for South Asia Hun Kim said the average annual ADB lending for Sri Lanka over the last 3 years had been around 300 million US dollars.
Speaking at the 51st ADB Board of Governors Annual Meeting 2018 at the ADB headquarters in Manandol City in Manila yesterday, Hun Kim said Sri Lanka is one of the countries benefiting from the capital increase of the ADB. He had noted Sri Lanka is one country that should really grow. He also observed political instability, especially after the recent local government election results, have contributed to economic setbacks in the country. He noted Sri Lanka is supposed to do a lot better and is a country with capacity, and the next couple of years may be difficult for Sri Lanka. Hun Kim says if politics is stable, all countries in South Asia can perform.
The Sanchara Kudawa tourism exhibition commenced for the 8th consecutive year this year at the BMICH in Colombo today. The exhibition will continue until tomorrow.
We all have a role to play in achieving this goal. Altogether, the tourists who come to this country place their trust in you to protect them while they are in your hotels, restaurants and other tourism establishments. It is your responsibility to see that no harm is caused to any tourist, because it is the reputation of the country that suffers at the end. Today, with the social media, even the smallest incident is picked up and amplified, and as a result is that the whole country suffers due to the actions of a few individuals. Today it is sad to note that thousands of individuals earn a living from the tourism industry is a legitimate manner. And there are many others who live off the industry in an illegitimate manner. They are the unlicensed bars, restaurants, hotels, or even unlicensed tour guides, taxi drivers, etc. And also the beach boys and the touts who are giving the industry a bad name, as what happened a couple of weeks ago. As a government, we are taking every possible measure to legitimize and regulate the industry as much as possible. You would have seen in the last few days what efforts are made by this ministry in order to bring to book all those who are responsible.
The annual bonsai exhibition of the Sri Lanka Bonsai Association commenced today. The exhibition will continue until the 6th of May.
Reflections 2018, which took place under the theme Living Images, was held at the University of Visual and Performing Art in Colombo. The Sri Lanka Bonsai Association was formed to promote the art of bonsai as a hobby in Sri Lanka and has held a number of exhibitions in the past.
As a Japanese national, it is quite a pleasure to see Sri Lankan people enjoying this wonderful art of bonsai. So I expected that this art be more and more popular in this country. Bonsai is just one form of avenue, but an important form of avenue in strengthening the bilateral friendship between Japan and Sri Lanka.
And that's a wrap of Primetime News for tonight. For the Newsfirst team, I'm Ramesh Rugal Bandara. Good night.